Pregnant or planning? Get holistic support with 9 and Beyond, your trusted pregnancy companion.
See, we've all watched movies. So, how does a labor happen? A woman gets into a room, then there's a lot of screaming and shouting sounds that come out, and then the baby's screaming is dead, and then the baby and the mother are shown. That's the visualization we've been grown up with. That's something we have to unlearn and learn that it can be done otherwise as well. This is why I said you should address your fears very early on.
Do these fear, anxiety play a major role when it comes to the length of the labor, the intensity of the labor, the pain you go through?
Two main hormones are necessary for the labor to happen. One is necessary for the contraction and the expansion, and two is required to keep your pain levels low.
Does mental preparation also help in post recovery?
The 9 months, it's not just the baby growing. Her hormones have been going high every single month. And the moment the baby is born, it'll drip. So the graph goes like that and then it falls like this. And it takes 9 months to grow the hormones. And if it falls on one day, you can understand the intensity of changes in the body. That is why postpartum is very, very vulnerable. Whenever there is a quicker, faster delivery, and if they've had a good positive birth experience, that kind of confidence that they get, that confidence also helps a lot in recovery and a good mental well-being in postpartum.
Hello and namaste. This is once again Sonia Pava, your co-founder for 9 and Beyond, your holistic pregnancy app at your service once again with new person, with new expertise and new knowledge and wisdom to be shared by all of you. And the most interesting part is that today's topic is basically about the mental preparation of your journey, especially the time of delivery, which is the mental preparation you need to be there on the special day and the special moment. And for that, today we have with us Pujita ji, and she's come all the way from Bangalore to be with us today. And an introduction about her is that being in the line of finance, she got married, had her pregnancy, which unfortunately terminated. After that traumatic experience of miscarriage and being the intelligent person that she was, she delved deep into the subject to find out her whys of why it happened. Ultimately, had two successful pregnancies, has lovely babies today, and she took it upon herself as a mission to turn herself into a educator for your reproductive journey with a very, very holistic approach. And when we say your trainer, educator for your reproductive journey, she actually covers all that which is needed by the couples, starting from preconception to fertility to pregnancy and delivery, and then the postpartum care and breastfeeding. And for this, she empowered herself with various courses and turned herself into an expert childbirth educator, lactation expert, and also postpartum caretaker. Is that right, Pujita?
Yes.
So, a warm welcome to you here today.
Thank you.
And we're really happy to have you here talking to our audience specifically on the mental preparation for their reproductive journey. Am I right?
Yes.
So, would you like to say something to them?
Thank you. So, today we'll be talking about something that's overlooked most of the times when you're preparing for your labor journey.
Right.
So, many mothers, when we think about giving birth, it's always either you create a nursery or you're looking at all the things that you buy for your hospital bag, and then you're looking at things to buy for the baby later on. So there's everything that you've been doing, but you're not looking at the mental preparation that you actually need to be giving birth. That's right. You could be doing your breathing exercises, you could be doing your yoga, but mental preparation is something that needs to be there for everything else to work.
Absolutely. I think you're right, Pujita, because I was going to ask you this, that considering you're giving so much importance to this mental preparation, though it is such a natural process.
True.
Why would you do that?
See, birth, postpartum, breastfeeding, pregnancy, everything is a natural process. It's
Right.
been happening since the mankind,
Right.
right? Today, what's happening is not being aware of the situation is bringing all the other interventions, like, you're getting that stress, you're getting anxiety, you're getting fear into the natural process,
Okay.
which has to be taken away for the natural process to flow. So I'm not going to be teaching people, or I'm not going to be coaching you to say how to give birth. I'm just going to be coaching to tell how to let your body do what it is supposed to do. Right?
Okay.
So that is what we look into when we talk about education for all these natural processes. So we let the body do its natural thing. We don't be a hindrance to what it is supposed to do. That's what has happened few years of our mankind. All the natural processes are being pushed with all the anxiety and fear and everything that we have grasped from the evolution.
Right.
So, education and getting that awareness back and letting the natural process flow is what I'm looking at right now.
And you feel that this needs more of the mental preparation than the physical preparation? Or should it go hand in hand? What is it?
I would say it should go hand in hand,
Okay.
because just being mentally prepared also won't work well. You need to be physically fit. You need to be physically working on your pelvis, on your breathing techniques, on your relaxation, on
Right.
everything, right? Even affirmations. You need to be working on all of that, but still, you need to work on your mental preparation as well. It has to go hand in hand.
Absolutely. So, when you're talking about fear and anxiety, which I think is a part of the journey which you undertake when you are becoming a parent,
Sure.
it just happens naturally to you, of course. I mean, do these fear, anxiety play a major role when it comes to the length of the labor, the intensity of the labor, the pain you go through? Is it impacting all these things?
For this, we need to understand how our bodies work.
Right.
So, when we talk about labor, right, two main hormones are necessary for the labor to happen.
Okay.
Right? One is necessary for the contraction and the expansion, and two is required to keep your pain levels low. And both the hormones are produced by our body naturally. So these two hormones won't come in front if you have anything like fear, anxiety, and all of that.
Okay.
Right? So when you have fear, your stress hormones will take over these hormones, and these hormones will take a step back. And that way, the intensity will be high, the pain will be high, and the natural way the labor has to happen won't happen.
Okay.
Right? So it definitely plays a huge role in increasing the time of your labor, the intensity of your labor, because the stress hormones are playing the major role here, right? So all these hormones have taken a seat back.
So, Pujita, besides impacting the length, intensity, and pain of the labor, does mental preparation also help in post recovery?
See, when women approach labor with a lot of confidence, right, they give out a lot of positive hormones, oxytocin.
Right.
So that definitely works when your postpartum hormones are all falling after a quick rise for the past 9 months. And when the hormones are falling, if you can push a lot of oxytocin from the system, it definitely helps in their mental well being in postpartum. So that's one thing. And the second thing is, whenever there is a quicker, faster delivery, and if they've had a good, positive birth experience, right, that kind of confidence that they get and the kind of empowerment that they get in that labor ward, it will it will go long. It will go into their postpartum and into their life. It will just become like a part of themselves that they have just found about themselves. They're
Yeah.
just they probably wouldn't know about this all this while.
The strength
And
which they possessed.
yeah, they kind of discovered a new self, right?
Right.
So that confidence also helps a lot in recovery and a good mental well-being in postpartum.
So, when you are talking about fear and anxiety, what exactly does it lead to? Besides, you said that the hormone released are the now of the fear and anxiety, and not the happy hormone which should be released, which is making it easy for you. So, what exactly these hormones do to you?
See, like I said, fear, right? Fear is always going to give you a lot of stress hormones. So when I say fear, that fear is going to give you a lot of tension. And when I say tension, that is going to lead to pain. And because you're having more pain, you're going to be more feared. And then that more fear into more tension and more tension into more pain again. So you're basically getting into that whirlpool of a loop, and the more you go deeper into it, the more painful it's going to be, and more the screaming and more the shouting. So it's really difficult for women to come out of that loop during labor. Okay, so mental prep basically lets them cut out of it and come to a very calm and confident state, right? So this cycle, if we can avoid, we can do wonders in labor. Yeah.
This is like the key point, that this is that state of mind you will not allow yourself to go into.
True.
So that you do not fall into that whirlpool
Yes.
of fear, pain, anxiety, and more fear, pain, and more anxiety, and
Yeah.
like, okay.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
Because more the fear, it's going to be more tension, more pain, and you really don't know when you're getting into that cycle. So, this is why I said you should uh, address your fears very early on, like whatever fears you've come across from the journey of your life. You need to put that out in your birth journey. Like, say you see, we've all watched movies,
Right.
So, how does a labor happen? A woman gets into a room, then there's a lot of screaming and shouting sounds that come out, and then the baby's screaming is there, and then the baby and the mother just are shown. So that's the visualization we've been grown up with, right?
Absolutely.
So that's something we have to unlearn and learn that it can be done otherwise as well. You don't have to do the screaming bit, because the screaming bit is because you're in that cycle, you're in that loop. So that way, keep addressing every fear that you have, every learning that's come from your childhood. Some things could just be putting some trauma over your birth experience. So don't do that. Early on, just address it and go head on with it, and then your birth process is going to be beautiful.
So the two mantra words are calm, confidence.
Yes.
I mean, and these two I can clearly see are the most important things to be imbibed and embraced for a smooth journey ahead.
True.
So, according to you, what should be that mental state they should be aiming for to reach that point of delivering the child?
I would say be a calm and confident person. That's the mental state you need to be giving birth. By calm and confidence, I say confidence comes through education. The first thing that you need to do is make yourself aware of the situation, of everything that is going to come through in this entire process. And when you're taking a step to understand all of these things, the next thing that will happen is to take your decisions. To have those informed decisions. And that way, the entire process is in your control, right? So that is going to give you a lot of confidence. And even if things go a little here and there, you're still under control. And that gives you a lot of empowerment. So that confident state of mind is one thing. And second thing is to be calm. Right? So why calm? Because I already told you. Because you don't need to let your stress hormones even step a little further. make sure your oxytocin and your endorphins are always high
Right.
for your labor to progress. So these are the two major uh, hormones for your labor to do the best that it can do.
So basically, the whole concept is what the key word is confidence.
Yes.
Right.
Calm confidence.
Yes. And for that, we need to be knowledgeable.
Yes.
So that and to get that knowledge and the wisdom is what you are telling them and teaching them, so that they are empowered to take the right decision at the right time,
Yes.
which also help them keep calm, because with this technical knowledge they know which hormones have to be released and which have to be suppressed.
True.
Am I right?
Yes.
Do I get it right? This is amazing. I mean, like, it's really sounds simple.
Yes.
And I hope it gives them already the conversation, gives them the confidence which is needed, because, there's no doubt fear and anxiety which is part of your
Definitely,
journey,
yeah,
which you
yeah.
can do nothing
But
about.
scientifically also it is proved, right?
Right.
It's not just like fear and anxiety is just going to put your labor,
Right.
it's going to put that progression low. But it's like scientifically there. The stress hormones are there. These hormones won't work. So you should not letting these hormones take a backstage, because then you'll have delayed labor and the intensity is high.
Right.
So all of those things will follow.
And what are these mental tools which you basically empower them with?
See, along with the breathing techniques and the vocalization, your visualization techniques, some of the most powerful mental techniques is deep breathing. Deep breathing is basically like a relaxation technique. It activates the body's relaxation response, so which is very, very much required for the labor to progress, right? And the second thing is visualization. Okay. So, visualization is like you visualize every contraction like a wave. So, we train them to surf through that waves.
Okay.
Right? So, if you're just looking at contractions, you're going to be like, I'm getting it, it's done, I'm getting it, it's done. And then you're anticipating another one, but you're really scared, right? That way, you're not in a calm state. But if you look at each contraction like a wave, and you get your techniques right, how to, when the wave is starting, how do you do your breathing, when the wave is ending, how do you do your breathing. So if you look at it like a wave, you will surf through. Okay. And surfing through each wave, how much ever the height is, you will still get through if you have all these techniques. So the second one was visualization. And finally, the third one, which I strongly believe, is affirmations. This needs to start from the day that you get to know you're pregnant. You should be telling yourself that your body knows what it has to do. You need to let your body do what it has to do. So that letting part is what we learn, right? Your body even if you're in a state where you don't want to do anything, your body is still doing its job. Your body is still processing, it's giving all the hormones out, it's taking care of the baby, everything's done by the body. But that 10% of work is that we have to let the body do what it has to do.
Okay.
So that way, I think affirmations help. So you should be telling yourself you're capable. You should trust your body, and your body is capable. You are capable. You are strong. So if you can keep saying that every time from the time you're pregnant, I think it makes a huge difference for the labor journey.
Amazing. So, what do you think is a partner's role in help you achieve that mental state for the spouse and for themselves? See, we always underestimate a male thing which they are going through. They are also going through as much anxiety, as much fear, maybe more, because when it's your dear one involved, I think you're more fearful than you are for your own self. So, what is their role and how can they support this?
See, partner can always be a great support. Why? I'll tell you. If they can get in touch and with the partner and just do some physical gestures, like just holding the hand, it will get those nerves very calm. It will get those love hormone high, and love hormone is oxytocin. And oxytocin is responsible for the contraction and expansion as well. So it's all in the same circle. So if the hormones can be aggravated by the partner, just show a lot of love. If the partner can be actively involved in giving that little bit of confidence when the mother really needs it,
Right.
maybe sometimes there'll be times in labor where you just want to give up. And the partner can actually understand that she can push it a little bit.
Right.
If they've gone through the entire journey together,
Right.
they'll know each other's state of mind, and
Right.
when she can push it, when she can't push it. So that way, if he can be an active partner, like proactively taking decisions
Right.
and being there for her, he can do some comfort measures, like maybe some massages during contractions, just holding her hand, looking at her, giving her some confidence. That will work wonders. And that way, he'll also feel a little more involved in the process, and he'll understand the entire process of bringing the child into the world. It's just not like the mother went inside the ward and
Right.
I got my baby out. So if he's actively involved, it definitely helps both of them to bond better
Definitely.
after the baby as well.
Which ultimately helps in that postpartum recovery.
True,
Right?
Definitely, yes, yeah.
Yeah, it plays a major role, probably.
Definitely, yes.
And it also changes their overall experience, the mental preparation by both of them.
Yes, definitely. See, for a woman, the 9 months, right? It's not just the baby growing. Her hormones have been going high every single month. And the moment the baby is born, it'll drip. So the graph goes like that, and then it goes like this.
Okay.
So the graph goes like that, and then it falls like this. So the fall is not going to be exactly like the rise.
Right.
So you can expect a lot of roller coaster of emotions and everything. So that is why postpartum is very, very vulnerable.
Okay.
Right. So the man has to be there to, support the women for the fall of hormones, to be there to, make sure she's not
Getting into that trap of feeling depressed and low and those crying
so
spells,
he
right?
can always be
Yeah.
there and understand that this is all because of the hormone drop. It's not because of anything else, right? So when it takes 9 months to grow the hormones, and if it falls on one day, you can understand the intensity of changes in the body. So
Right.
that way, the physical recovery has to happen, the emotional recovery has to happen. So if the partner can be there, both of them can evolve into and enter the parenthood very safely and happily.
Absolutely. I mean, see, this is where the knowledge and the empowerment with the knowledge and wisdom is required, so that you know why it is happening.
Yes.
And when you know the whys, you know how to deal with it.
True. The awareness
Absolutely.
is absolutely important, because when we talk about postpartum, I should always mention postpartum depression also needs a lot of awareness to understand that this is normal
Right.
and this is not normal.
Absolutely.
The line is what you need to understand, and for that understanding, you need a little bit of awareness and education.
Absolutely. So, yeah. So, when you were talking about the writing of the waves and everything, you said, accepting that the body can do this. Yet, sometimes when that moment comes, there can be a change in mindset, right? It's the human mind end of the day.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? And how is that coped up?
See, labor is unpredictable. Okay, so that's something we all have to accept.
Right.
No matter the preparation, no matter how educated you are about the process, no matter how physically fit and emotionally fit you are. So here's the thing, you mentally prepare for being flexible. That's also one of the major things that we prepare the women for. Embracing the flexibility is one of the most important things that you need to keep in mind. See, you could have planned for a natural birth, but you might end up having to take an epidural. So there's the mindset. You don't have to take that guilt and shame for it. You need to embrace it and go forward and still be the same proud of yourself, right? So it's not about, say you've prepared for a vaginal birth and you end up having a emergency C-section. So it's about you understanding that your body and your baby needed this, right? So that's the shift of mindset you need. You're like, it's okay, I need to be flexible. I'm doing the best that I can right now. Instead of just being rigid to the plan and feeling low about it, feeling sad about it, feeling a little disappointed about the entire process. Instead of that, it's better to embrace it and feel that's how you go ahead with it, right? That's one. And other than that, flexibility is something that doesn't just come like that. You need to we also educate them saying, if not this, you will be going through this.
Okay.
If not this, then you will be going through this. So it's not something to be ashamed about. You will still end up having the same baby and you still need to be proud of yourself. Right. End of the day, the birth experience that the mother comes out with is the most important thing. That's the bottom line. It's not about what kind of birth she had, or if she had an epidural, or if she had a natural birth. It's not about that. End of the day, if the mother is not having any birth trauma and coming out with a positive experience, that's more than enough.
Right. Which means you have to let go
Yes.
of what the experience actually is going to be.
True.
Am I right?
Yes.
How would you elaborate on that?
See, I would say rigidity, like don't make a very rigid birth plan. So don't make a very rigid birth plan. Just make something like these are your preferences. I would be doing this if everything goes well. If not, I would still be happy doing these. So that way, your flexibility is still there, and your birth plan is not like a strict thing, right?
Right.
If you write everything on birth plan, doesn't mean that has to happen. So you need to embrace that flexibility. Like I said, you should be keeping a rigid plan is not the right thing to do. I would say that for answering this question.
Basically, the
Yeah,
biggest
just
thing
don't be
is don't be
rigid. Yeah.
rigid. Just
Just
because I
let
have
go.
learned it, it's going
Yeah.
to happen like that.
Yeah, so
Just be
let go.
open to how it is coming.
Correct.
Keep accepting.
Yes.
Keep moving
Yes.
with confidence.
Just let it go.
Yeah.
And just accept that this is the best thing that's happening. And don't be like, oh, I did yoga for like 9 months. I did breathing techniques. I've gone to all the classes. And I should have a perfect natural birth. But then there's something wrong. And then you have to be taken for an emergency C-section. You can't be rigid and end up coming out with a trauma.
Right.
So letting go is the first thing that you need to learn. So flexibility is the best thing that you can do in your birth plan.
The main part of mental preparation
Is
flexibility is the key word,
Yes.
right? And letting go.
Yes.
Okay, not attaching yourself to the process of the childbirth.
True.
So that whatever is happening by the end of it is acceptable of the way it is happening.
True.
Right?
Yes.
So, what are the most common mistakes which you come across in your career, which generally parents to be make while doing this mental preparation?
I think the most common thing is to ignore this mental trip by the whole, right? So they go to these classes and they're very prepared with the birthing techniques and breathing techniques, and they're knowing the positions, they learn everything. But if they don't prepare themselves, this can't be done in a class. Only the techniques can be told in the class. Only the teachings can always be told. But then you have to actually embrace the teachings, at least for the mental preparation part. If you don't really take it in and work on yourself, that I think that's the most biggest mistake that most of the parents to be do, because they're more into preparing the other things more physical
Right.
than taking this into consideration. So that's one thing. Just being very occupied with one coping technique. Like say, I'm just going to be doing breathing and I'll be fine. I'm just going to be doing these exercises. I'm going to be fine. So just depending on one coping mechanism is not going to work. That's one thing. And the other thing is not addressing the fears early on. Like you have a lot of time for you to address your fears, like write down what is the actual fear and go head on with it, right? So you can break it down. So instead of that, when you have that fear, like say you have the fear of vaginal birth, go look out for some videos, watch it. It could be uncomfortable, go watch it. If you're doing that, you're going head on into that fear and then you're working on it, right? So if you're not addressing it and procrastinating it, I think it will become bigger in front of you on the day of labor. So I think you should be addressing the fears very early on in pregnancy.
And if you can't deal with it yourself, turn to a professional to help you come.
Yes, yes.
Okay. What would be your final word of advice for these people?
Don't take it too hard on yourself. Just start off with physical preparation. Slowly, as a couple, get into the mental preparation. So don't do this alone. Don't become too hyper independent. Do it as a couple, do it as a teamwork, and touch upon everything: your fears, your breathing techniques, your visualization, your deep breathing, your affirmations, everything together. If you could work on it for the entire 9 months that you've got on your hands, I think birth process will be beautiful team effort, and they'll end up coming out with a beautiful positive experience of birth.
Absolutely.
One of the most important things that mental preparation gives women is if you're having a C-section, and which is looked down by the society even in today's generation. Like if you have had a vaginal birth, it literally feels like you're a complete mother.
Yeah, and like a feather in your cap.
Correct,
Right.
And if you've gone through a C-section and it's like not much of a mother, you just got the easy way out.
Yeah,
So
you didn't
things-
try hard enough.
Right, yeah,
Right.
that's the thing. So when such things happen, right, if a mother has gone through the mental preparation and has educated herself and has empowered herself, even if the society looks down to her, she wouldn't let that impact her experience or her well-being, her mental status.
Yeah.
She can come out of it stronger, and she will feel like it's something that she can ignore.
Absolutely.
Right? So mental prep is also required to face the society at such moments. So that's also very important. So
You know, Pujita, I think what you have just put in right now is very valuable because sometimes it weakens you from inside other people's opinion. But when you have the knowledge that this happened for the benefit of your body and your child, it doesn't matter what the world says. Then you look at them and like, poor guys, they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Your whole outlook towards the problem changes. And
Correct.
that is what I think mental preparation is all about, right?
True. Yeah.
I think that's a very valuable point. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So,
As a new mother, right, a lot of things that the society puts upon us, like right from the kind of pregnancy we've had, or if the stomach is smaller, or it's too big, or if the mother is short, if the mother is tall, the kind of things that the woman goes through from the beginning, and then be it labor, vaginal or C-section, and then breastfeeding, less milk, no milk. So in all the stages of pregnancy and postpartum, the mothers are going to be facing all of these in the society. So if you can just educate yourself, you're kind of putting a shield for yourself and not letting that affect your mental well-being, because you really know yourself, you know what's happening in your system, and you don't really need to give up and get troubled by all of these things. So,
absolutely. Thank you so much, Purita, for coming here and giving your valuable time to our audience, helping them understand the importance of mental preparation,
Thank you.
which I think is like the Suraksha Kavach.
Yes.
So education वो सुरक्षा कवच है. अगर आपने वो पहन दिया, so automatically it empowers you with your two key words which you said, calm and confidence. ये दोनों चीजें इसका शायद side effect हो जाएंगी, and this is what is needed in the time which is basically in your reproductive journey of probably from conception through the journey, especially that special moment of labor which has been hyped into only pain and not
Yes.
into experience.
Yes.
Right? So thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
It's very grateful
Thank
for
you so
that.
much for having me. It was a great experience. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, audience. We hope you felt more empowered. This conversation is actually made me very calm today. So, and now I think we also understand why she herself is such a calm person, the way she talks in that monotone. So, please go for it, work on it. I think it will really help you make a very pleasant experience out of this journey, and lots of blessing for you to have a smooth reproductive journey ending into a smooth labor process of having a beautiful baby. Thank you so much for being with us today. God bless.